We shall see.
I think it's working. It's always every one of my lives starts with me saying, "I think it's
So,
working." It's just how it is. Let's assume let's assume that we are now live. So, thank you for joining us. My guest tonight is Sergeant Nathaniel Garrison of the Vermont National Guard. And then happy Veterans Day.
thanks, man.
Um, Veterans Day is for like does that active duty included in veterans?
Yes, we kind of like take it upon ourselves to be like, you're not veteran status until you've been in for a minute.
Yeah,
Possibly even like once you get out, it's like a given. But but yeah, active duty still counts on it.
yeah. You've served enough time that you're a veteran. You've done your service for our country. I guess someone in boot camp hasn't yet earned it, but once you've put some time on the ground
Yeah,
and you've had some cool experiences, I understand that there's probably a limit to what you can openly share on Facebook.
true.
Um, but maybe you could talk a little bit about some of your favorite memories in the armed services. Some of the things that it doesn't necessarily mean warm fuzzy. It just means things that stand out to you as being significant and impactful in your time in the service.
Hmm. Well, I mean, so the biggest thing with my service and most likely every other veteran service is just the other people that you're with.
Mhm.
That is a huge, huge part of being in the military is the brotherhood,
Mhm.
the friends you make, you'll never forget them.
Yep.
I had friends 6 years ago from basic training that we still keep in contact,
Mm.
check up on each other when we get back from missions, deployments, stuff like that.
Mm.
But the people for sure.
Yeah, my grandpa served in World War II, my father's father, and to the day he died, kept in touch with that band of brothers that he made, I mean, that was a different generation, but still it was the same mentality.
Absolutely.
Um and I would like to talk a little bit about kind of who you are, because I want to give it some context into how far you've come. We were talking before the call, reminiscing a little bit on the old high school days. From I know you from I guess ninth grade on, summer before ninth
I
grade.
would say, yeah, summer before.
Yeah, and you were amongst my first classes to be maybe you were the first class. Were you in the
I
first group
I think it was, yeah.
that came through the success program? I
Yeah.
believe that you were, and yeah, I mean, I remember you like right from camp. I remember you being squirrely. I had to chase you, and I won't identify the girl that you were chasing around with, but I remember chasing you through the woods because you and this girl were trying to escape into the woods. Prior to freshman year, when we used to camp out on the mountain campus. And I don't say that in any way to be demeaning or derogatory. I say it to mean like it's amazing how much you've grown up.
Yeah, there's definitely a starting point there.
You know,
Yeah.
and like, can you talk a little bit about yourself? Because as you know, now I'm doing this executive functioning coaching, which is very similar. I mean, it's goals, habits, growth. It's the same stuff I did with y'all at BBA, but I'm taking it to a broader audience online. And I'm just when you think about yourself as a learner, as a student, um, what were some of the struggles that stick with you?
Oh man. My biggest thing, I've been thinking about it for a couple of days since you asked me to do this. I think the number one issue I had, and it still is very prominent in my life, is that it's hard for me to do something that I know that I'm not going to genuinely enjoy. It is very hard for me to wrap it around my brain, like, hey, this is gonna suck, and I don't really see it going anywhere, but it's important that I do it. Those
So
tasks are nearly impossible for me to do.
So we call that like non-preferred tasks. That would be the executive functioning phrase, right? Like it's not preferred, therefore it's going to take an act of God to make it happen. But yet you follow orders, right?
Exactly. So funny story. My mom, after I got back from basic training, she looked at me. She's like, "I didn't think you were gonna do it. I didn't think you were gonna make it, just because of how awful I was at listening to
I
commands and
know. I
orders."
mean, I remember that, and I knew that would take you far in life. That you were an independent thinker. I never would have guessed the military. I wouldn't have.
Me
And
neither.
yet it's been like you said, it's not been linear. So here you are, a student who is hard to focus, hard to get you to do non-preferred tasks. very bright. That was never an issue. Like your capacity to learn was never an issue. It was your capacity to produce academic work when it was non-preferred. That was the issue.
Correct.
And that the model of school didn't really fit. You were your own kind of person, and you obviously made it through. But how was the decision made then to join the military?
Honestly, it was kind of like a rock bottom last resort. I mean, I had an apartment, I had friends, I had a job. I wasn't at like what you'd think of rock bottom, rock bottom. I just knew that I wasn't going anywhere from where I was. And I didn't want to get stuck in a monotonous cycle.
Mm-hmm.
I needed something more. And I was always into, the adrenaline filled sports of like snowboarding, longboarding,
Mm-hmm.
just doing stuff that I know gives me that rush. And in the back of my mind, I'd always watch a video about basic training here or watch like a war movie here. And something sparked in my brain every single time. It's like, why not? Let me look into it. And then I found the National Guard because I knew there was no way I was going to do this full time every day. I was like, let me dip my toes in with the Guard, see what it's like doing it on a weekend, twice a week in the summer. Um, and I think that was a really, really good choice. I also made sure that I got the largest contract I could up front because I knew I would back out of it if I didn't. And I think that was a really intelligent choice because around that 3 year mark, around the short contract, I was starting to feel like I don't really like this. This isn't really fun anymore. And that's where I really grew into biting the bullet a little bit more, understanding that even if I don't want to do something, tasks have purpose, and that purpose is going to lead to my greater good and the organization's greater good. So I kind of developed that pride.
Yeah, because you've taken a position of leadership.
Correct.
So now you're the one telling people to do things they don't want to do.
Correct.
So how how do you go about that, right? Like part of what I want to talk to you tonight is like how to build independence without, you know, humiliation, right? We still want to build people up. We don't want to make them so they don't believe in themselves. It's actually quite the opposite, right? To be a good leader, you
Exactly
want
the opposite.
so so how do you get someone to do a non-preferred task? Like what is your like mindset going through that?
So before you become a sergeant or a non-commissioned officer, corporal, in the military, you go to this school called BLC, Basic Leadership Course. And they teach you something I really, really latched onto there. Again, I felt like the academic. I felt like I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. This doesn't matter to me. But what really came out into my face was um, empathy, and being an empathetic leader and servant leadership. It's a huge military term I had never heard before I went to this school. I didn't really feel like any of my leaders were being servant leaders at the time. It's leading through example, being empathetic, and that doesn't mean being that warm and fuzzy. Hey, you don't have to do this. It's okay. It's being stern, honest, and what I will do is I will go through the motions of explaining why we're doing the task, how it benefits them, me, and the organization, and give some kind of story about how I used to do the task and how I made it more enjoyable.
So you just made the task less intimidating. You were empathetic to the notion that you knew that this other person doesn't want to do this thing, and so therefore you had to be proactive to reach them where they're at.
Right. And a lot of times I'll do the task with them. Even though I'm sitting at this place of leadership where I don't have to do it, I'm going to do it with you just to show you that I'm here for you as much as if I'm going to expect all of these things from you, I'm going to help you out a little bit.
Hmm.
We're going to get that mutual respect going.
Do you enjoy that position of leadership?
Absolutely. I think
Yeah.
I think I needed to see this side of things to really understand the other side of things.
Hmm.
I could never really put myself in your shoes when I was a kid. I mean, obviously, but now that I've grown up and see what you do from this side of things, and when we spoke when I came into the school, um, just opened my mind up, man.
It's amazing. Yeah, I mean, the work that I do, I know that it's going to take 5, 10 years until I get a genuine thank you because the
Right.
kids they need to grow into it. But I don't do it for the thank yous, right? I do it because I know that's the right thing to do, and that's kind of what you do as well.
Absolutely.
Um, okay, so ADHD. Uh, in some ways it was your superpower. You talk about being like a risk taker, and you weren't like precious with your body. You were willing to go longboarding down a steep hill and get chased by people and do all that kind of stuff. You were willing to play adrenaline sports. Had a hard time focusing on tasks, but yet had to hyper focus when it came to like, right? Because that's the ADHD thing. So like, I'm just thinking of your typical neurodivergent kid, and I know that we really can't talk about any specifics, but I'm gonna make the assumption that you are around equipment that has the ability to cause lethal means onto other people,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
and so like you have to be really focused. You have to be dialed in all the time, right? So how did like the ADHD brain is still there. That's still you. I know it. It's right.
So
But
yeah,
yet, like, how did you harness the superpower? Is what I'm really asking.
I don't know if I actually found a way to consciously do it. I think I put myself into a role where I knew it would do it subconsciously. So, like you said, there's that hyperfixation point. When I'm out on a range, I'm a 240 gunner. I'm a machine gun team leader right now. So when I'm out on a range, it's a very dangerous job. Lots of bad things can happen. I think that adrenaline is what drove me to I'm going to learn everything about this weapon system. I'm going to learn about everything about first aid that I can, all of the issues that could go wrong with this weapon system to hurt me and the people around me so that I could potentially save a life if I need to. So I can employ this weapon system correctly and efficiently. I think the fact that it's such a dangerous job really it is what hyper fixated me on it
Mm.
and allows me to get that like uh, everything's clear if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Like the
yeah.
not the voices, but like the static in my brain just stops and everything is slow motion. Everything works the way it should, crystal clear.
If you were doing something mundane,
Dude,
you could get lulled into a real quickly, and but what you're doing is not mundane, and therefore you've forced yourself, knowing yourself, you've put yourself in a high-paced environment to make sure that you were stimulated so that you would stay engaged.
correct.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if that's entirely healthy. That stress is what makes me feel calm, but that's where I'm at.
Okay, so do you see yourself career being in the military or
I think it would just be financially irresponsible not to do 20 years and get a pension out of it,
right?
being as I'm already 6 years in.
Yeah, totally. The pension is an amazing thing.
Yeah.
Benefits can't be understated. That's like a thing that young people don't really think about very often.
It's
That,
hard to look 10 years ahead when you've only been alive for 18 years.
yeah, totally. But then when you're 28 and you're halfway in, you're like, this is good.
Yep.
So you put in your 20 years, and then you go out into the civilian world, and what would you see yourself doing? Because you're
I'm
never going to replicate that level of intensity, are you?
no, I think about this every day. Every single day I think about what am I going to do after this? Where am
Yeah.
I going to get this clarity? And I met my girlfriend recently or about 8 or 9 months ago. And the thought of having that safety and security with a family and the hope that I start to slow down on the adrenaline junkiness. Really, that's what kind of carries me through that
Mhm.
question in my head. What am I going to do after this? I just
Put all your
focus on
passion, put all
focus
your
on
passion into
family.
your kids, put all your
Yeah.
passion into your family. Yeah. And volunteer. There are things that you could do to stay busy and stay active
Oh,
and
absolutely.
and be involved and especially if you have a pension that allows you to kind of make good choices for yourself, not being forced to take a menial job, but being
Right.
able to actually plus after 20 years in the military, you're very marketable, like
The, the
if
amount
you
of
come out intact, you're
yeah,
very marketable.
no, the amount of funding we get for any certifications you want on the civilian side for trade, cybersecurity, as well as college reimbursement. There's no reason for me not to get an education. I haven't started yet. I told myself on my next deployment, I'm going to work on those certifications, start
Mhm.
smaller, and then maybe when I get back, get into an actual school.
Because you have a
Um,
lot of time on your hands when you go on the deployments, a lot of waiting, hurry up and wait.
yeah, so there's like
Yeah.
a pretty good tempo of work to be done, but there is downtime. And
Hmm.
why not? If I'm gonna sit there in a steel box with a bed, I might as well do something with it.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. Um, so I never had a thought of military in my life. It was never like my grandpa had served and I like had all the all the respect for him, but I am not a rule follower. I like almost like instinctively push rules because like that's just what I want to do. I want to see like if they break. Um, but I have all the respect for you guys, and I actually through my work at BBA, and partnering with Billy, but really having so many students such as yourself who have then gone on and had prominent careers and done good stuff in the military realm, I've developed a kind of a different respect for it. As well as my wife comes from a military family. Do you come from a military family, or are you the first to
No,
serve in your
so my
family?
grandfather, I believe my grandfather was drafted, but he hated it, despised it. When recruiters came to get my uncle his son, he like drove him away.
Yeah.
Um, and I want to make something very clear. I'm not like a goody two shoes, like listening to the rules. I'm ask any guys in my unit. I am still a smart ass. Like I will double down on that for the rest of my life. I like to have a little bit of opposition in my character
Yeah,
always.
well, that's interesting. Can you tell me how has that helped you to be successful in the military? Because that sounds counterintuitive.
So it is counterintuitive. It has definitely not helped me be successful in the military. I have to put it away for that, but it has been really good at making me friends that are
Mm,
genuine,
hmm.
who put up with it, who give it back to me when I need it. Um, oh man, I had a good point.
Mm. You're not a goody two shoes,
I'm definitely
and and you're willing to push the limits as well still. And I'm happy to hear.
got to keep it fun, but also when it's time to do the job, lock in and do the job.
Right.
You know, I think that's the difference between me now and me from high school. Is back then I didn't care. I'm gonna push and push and push and push. Now I know when it's time to. All right, let's do the thing now.
Is there anything that I or others could have done to get you to figure that out quicker, or did you just need to grow into it?
Definitely just grow into it, man. Like there's nothing that anyone was gonna tell me back then that was gonna change my
Oh,
mind.
it's so frustrating. I want to know that I could have made a difference. I want to know,
You
like,
did. No, you 100% made a difference. You were just weren't gonna change that.
yeah, that's who you are. That's your temperament.
Yeah.
So going back to the previous statement I was making, like, as someone who really has no understanding of the workings of the military, like, and being that it's Veterans Day, what would you want any civilians, any people like me out there who are dialing in because of interest, or any high school kid who I'm working with who's watching this video and thinking about themselves, like, what do you want us to know about the military that civilians don't really know?
Okay, so to dial in on the kids that might either want to join, definitely know they don't want to join. There's a lot of different routes you can take in the military. You don't have to be anything to do with combat. Like a large, like you think about military, you think about wars. There are an infinite amount of jobs that have nothing to do with holding a weapon system. We've got like radiologists. Like you go into any kind of medical field, there's a military application for that that will then pay for you to get certified and go to school to take that skill into the civilian world. So if you've got a job in your mind and you really want to do it, you can
Mm.
work on a pension, work on your school and certifications to do it then in the civilian world when you're done with the military. Just putting that out there. I don't want to sound like a recruiter, but that is like it's there,
It's the
man.
benefit. I mean,
It's a
that's,
free resource. Like I
yeah.
mean, it's your time and your life.
Yeah,
But
I was gonna say it's not free. You earned it. So, but yes, understood. And then
um
what about like just the regular civilian? You know, we talked before the call that it's just an interesting time
yeah,
geopolitically.
yeah, politically it is an interesting time and I can't get into the politics as of it as much, but what I would say is the people in the military are not um bad people. So when we get sent somewhere, when we get orders to do something, it's our job. We got to do it. And we all have the best interest for the American people in our minds and hearts all the time. a lot of things can get spun this way, that way about it, what we're thinking, what we're doing. We just want to go home and see our family.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it.
My grandpa, I keep coming back to him because he's like my connection to military, but he always talked about how just like everyone that was in the military was everyone. You had all the different people, all the different walks of life. Like the one thing you had in common is that you all use the same latrine, he used to say,
Yep.
like that was it. Otherwise, they were all different people from all different walks of life. And like you're saying, they're good, they're all people. They're
Yep.
not they're not like this crazed stereotype that might be portrayed.
You've got people making all these like laws and rules for the military, changing standards and whatnot. Everyone that's a soldier, the actual backbone of the military, there's no racism, there's no sexism, there's no ableism. Everyone is just doing the job and getting along with each other.
Hmm, that's amazing. And
From my
that,
experience, from what
yeah,
I've seen.
yeah, and that's what I think makes America is like
Yep.
if we can get past all the politics and just get to like human interactions, um, it takes all kinds, and we have everyone there, and we all if we all could just value what everyone brings to the table, we would all be a very rich place.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, okay. Well, I'm looking at the clock. It says 20 minutes. I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, for sure, dude.
Um, happy Veterans Day. Thank you for your service. Thank you in addition for making time to always just come to the call. I
Yeah,
know that
man.
I've called on you a few times and I'll probably call on you again because I really
I'm
enjoy
I'm
I
looking
enjoy
forward to it.
good, good. Because
Yeah.
I enjoy our conversations and I respect the man that you've grown into.
Thank you. I
Um,
appreciate that.
and I look forward to the next time we talk.
Yeah, man. I'll try and think about some of those questions a little bit more and get you some more solid answers. I don't want to leave you feeling like you had no impact on me
No,
growing
no.
into who I am.
I don't think I had no impact. Like I said, I know that my impact may becomes years later as it reverberates and gets magnified by other role models that you run into. And they're like, they kind of stack on top of each other, you know? But I just like, as I think about kids that I'm working with, even now who, like kids struggling to get out of bed in the morning. And I'm just like, you just got to do it. You just got to make yourself get out of bed, like you wake up and then you get out of bed. That's what you do. And like, it's not enough. Like me encouraging them is not enough. They have to be wanting to get out of bed. And, I just don't know how else I can impact change. And I really want to. I really
I
want to help.
I think one of the biggest things you did for me was you kind of started the snowball effect of confidence.
Mm,
A lot of the things we did, a lot of the projects we had at the summer success camps, and as well as getting me back there to be a counselor
a
at the
mentor. Yeah.
a mentor, I think the confidence in who I was, how I the responsibilities you gave me, I think that is what started the change.
Yeah. And obviously some of that is hard to translate into the online world when I'm working with people from around the country. They have their own little bubbles, and I was able to create my own bubble and then to foster growth within that. But you're right that confidence is something I really believe. That's why I've named my program the Core Confidence Program, because that's like that is it for me. Like if you could be confident, then you could do hard things. But it's when you're not confident that you're averse of hard things, and then you don't necessarily reach your full potential. But
Absolutely.
yeah, but you always had that confidence a little bit in you as well. You always had a belief in self. I, I, um, I don't see your mom too much around. I do see her on social media, and your sister, has grown up to be just like, I just think your mom is part of it. Her putting you and your brother and like, just never ever letting you guys back down and always just like whatever you wanted to do, even if other people thought it was risky, she had your back and she wanted you to do those things. She wanted you to live
100%.
life, to live life. And so like your mom was such an important part of creating the people that her children are. And
She is
I
still
have
an important part to this day. Like I lean on her for a lot of emotional, spiritual, financial sometimes help,
yeah,
and
yeah,
she's always there. And I think that is
awesome.
another huge crucial part of having confidence just in life is having that person there that is just always going to be there no matter when.
Yeah. So, Laura, if you're watching out there, I hope that you are, and I hope that you watch to the end so you can hear all the nice things that we said about you. But Than and I both think the world of you, and you're doing a great job as a mom and as a human being. All right. Put that out there. And Than, you too are doing a great job. All right, buddy. Thank you for your time.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. Thank you for
Uh,
having me.
I'll talk to you soon.
Catch you.